Nintendo Power. It makes the perfect holiday gift for friends, cousins, even little brothers and sisters interested in higher scores. We're talking Nintendo Power. Hit it. It was 1988. The Lakers beat the Pistons in the NBA Finals. Roseanne debuted. Weird Al released his Even Worse album, and Nintendo morphed its Nintendo Fun Club newsletter to Nintendo Power Magazine. I'm your host, Jerry D, with another episode of Totally Rad Christmas, the podcast that talks all things Christmas in the 80s. Toys, movies, specials, music, and fads. If it was gnarly during Christmas in the 80s, we got it covered. Now, joining me are two Totally Rad Christmas all-stars. From Horror Movie BBQ, it's Chad Young. Chad, how's it going?
Hello, how is everybody?
I'll take that as a good thing.
It is a good thing. It's always a great thing when you hear that music, let's be honest.
That's true. Oh man, I need to start my days off with that. Like that needs to be my ringtone on my alarm.
Oh, yes. Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
Uh-oh.
No, nothing. Go ahead.
But my second guest, you'll know from the Advent Calendar House, it's Mike Westfall. Mike, how you been? Mike, how you been?
Yes, I was holding for tips on how to beat Metroid.
Worth it.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back here at the Advent Oh, wait, no, not the IF. I meant nerd. Oh, no, wait. Oh, I'm just going to start cursing. I'm sorry.
It's a mobile home.
And now
it's nice to be here at the mobile home.
Coming in via warp pipe. It's Mike.
Me. Thank you for having me.
Oh man, how you guys doing? It's been a while.
It has been. I almost forgot how to do this, but I'm excited.
Heck yeah! I think the last time we got together, it was for The Legend of Zelda.
The three of us.
Yes. The three of us. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I remember that because that was the day that they that I got actually while we were recording, I had received a press release that Street Fighter the movie was going to be released on Blu-ray.
Oh wow!
The
very yes,
nice,
yes, and that's kind of what I remember. There's a lot of trauma in my past.
And it's called Street Fighter the movie.
Oh. It was just a Tuesday.
That's Bison. What does he do? Doesn't he like give like one of those elbow things?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
To the camera.
Yup.
Oh man.
That's very Nintendo-ish.
Who thought it really is, but who thought it was a good idea to make Van Damme Guile? That just
who thought it was a good idea to make him oh wait, it was canon. Never mind. Okay. Never mind. Just take that part out completely.
Menachem Golan. It's his fault.
No. Oh gosh, yeah. No, he would never do anything stupid.
And there you go. Speaking of Nintendo Power, you like that hard seg there?
Well done.
But we're here to talk Nintendo Power.
Maps, contests, game reviews, and score-blasting high adventure.
Toby, help us! We're in trouble! Come on!
Order Nintendo Power now. Call this number and save $6 on 6 big issues. 110 pages of challenges and excitement. There's intrigue. There's energy. You don't just read Nintendo Power, you live it. Call 1-800-521-0900, extension 200 for your secret weapon to higher scores and hot game news. Available by subscription only.
Toby!
It's simple. $15, 6 issues.
Your Nintendo Power's here!
This is no dream. Just call the Nintendo hotline to order now. We'll bill you later. Remember, not available in stores. 1-800-521-0900, extension 200. Now you're playing with power. Nintendo Power.
What do you guys remember about Nintendo Power? Like, what's your history with it? Mike?
Oh, well, I think I mentioned before, my dad got the NES in the spring of 1989. First game I picked up for myself was ice hockey. And that came with a little card inside that said, "Join the Nintendo Fun Club today." So I filled it out, and my parents sent a check. And a few weeks later, I learned the Nintendo Fun Club had evolved into a full-blown magazine called Nintendo Power. And I got my first issue, which turned out to be the first anniversary issue. It had Mega Man 2 on the cover.
Nice.
In like little clay models in space. It was amazing. Still my favorite cover.
It's Dr. Wily, isn't it? Like in
Dr. Wily's on there. Yeah, gorgeous.
What is it about Nintendo Power and like clay figures? Like they had the coolest little. I always wanted them, to like play with them. But
yeah, there's a collector. His Twitter handle is Art of NP or something like that. It's Art of Nintendo Power, and he has gotten a hold of a lot of those models and a lot of those original prints that they used to make those covers. And it's a very impressive collection. And those first few years of those covers were just gorgeous. They, as the years went by, they kind of lowered their cover budget. But the first few years, they were amazing.
Lower their cover budget. I like that.
But I subscribed for 10 years, up through 1998. The last one, I had to look it up. The last cover I had was Star Wars Rogue Squadron for the N64.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was a good game.
Yeah. And I don't know how or why, but I still remember my old membership number. I'm not going to broadcast it on a podcast, so you're going to have to take my word for it. But this is the stuff my brain decides to keep at the ready. I will leave my wallet at home at least once a week, but I can rattle off 9 digits of a number that hasn't been associated with me in like 25 years.
That's like I still remember my 6th grade locker combination.
Right.
I don't remember any other locker combination I've ever had, but my 6th grade one, it was like my first locker. I remember that for some reason.
You never forget your first.
Nope. Oh, no, family friendly.
That's right. Oh, what about you, Chad? What do you remember about Nintendo Power?
Hey, more than anything, I just kind of remember it being one of the first like magazines that I fell in love with. So I was probably okay. So no, 88. I was 5. So I probably didn't start reading Nintendo Power till I was probably like maybe 7. So I was a little behind. But it was that and WWF magazine were like the two magazines I fell in love with. And that was around the time that my brother is 8 years older than me. So he would always get like, hot rod magazines and, heavy metal magazines and, so. See,
I would have guessed you were a Fangoria guy. That would have been my guess.
I would always read Fangoria at the newsstand, but my mom, she wouldn't buy those, especially with those covers. No. I would. The fact that she let me watch Tales from the Crypt at age 7 was I can't say that, but it was a bloody miracle. No pun intended. I'm going to leave that to John Kassir, Nintendo commercial alumni, by the way.
Zelda.
Yep. What was it? The Skeeksis? Is that what they were called?
Tech-tites.
There we go.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, the Nintendo Power was always one that I never really got a lot of issues, but when I did, it was a very big deal. So I mean, it would have to really be a game that I was really passionate about. But yeah, that was one of the first magazines that I was like, oh, cool. I wasn't into like Boys Life or. I was a little too old for like highlights, but Nintendo Power and WWF were like my demographic, so I could kind of get into that.
Well, and highlights always felt like the dentist magazine. That's what you. That's what you did when you were in the waiting room.
And besides, I would usually just kind of go right to Goofus and Gallant, and I hated what were the little twig people?
I don't.
They looked like Michael will appreciate this. They looked like they would be like Lord Karuku's people.
That's coming up later, actually.
Toby.
Toby.
Oh. No, but like the Stickleys, I think is what they were called, but they looked weird.
Don't remember those. I remember
Don't
Goofus
either.
and Gallant.
That's
and
I-
what's
I remember,
wrong
yeah.
with this picture?
I loved Goofus and Gallant. It was I always thought Goofus was funnier.
Oh, he's hilarious.
Yeah, like Goofus throws his cat into traffic. Like well, we've all been there. I mean, what a relatable guy.
Don't do what Donnie Don't does.
Oh man, they don't let you have any fun here.
Between the two, though, who do you think was funnier, them or Howard and Nestor?
Oh,
Ooh.
I mean-
that's a tough call.
Goofus wins.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah, I think in the funny scale, they definitely.
Side note, do you guys remember when they did a Beavis and Butthead comic, and like in the comic they would like make like instead of music videos, obviously they would be like making fun of other magazines or comics. One time they're like reading highlights and Butthead just says Goofus is cool. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of.
I think that's it right there. Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's our show.
Yep. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I've derailed enough. If you've made it this far, don't forget to vote for me next year in the Totally Rad Christmas Awards ceremony.
Well, it's actually yours. It's coming up for last year. You're nominated for a few, so
Sorry.
good luck, sir.
No, as much luck as your listeners are going to need.
But like, I'm kind of in the same boat as y'all. I remember Nintendo Power. I didn't have a subscription myself. To teachers' salaries, it was kind of we had to be very careful what we could afford.
Mhm.
But my best friend growing up, I remember he had a subscription, and so whenever we'd go to his house, like I would just look through them, and usually he'd kind of look through them, and if they didn't have a game he was interested in, he'd give it away. So I have a couple of really fun issues. That Mega Man 2 with Dr. Wily, I have the Mega Man 3 one, I have as well. It's Mega Man and Rush on the cover.
Yep.
I think the Mortal Kombat 2 one he had as well, and so he gave that one to me because
Okay.
he knew I was a big Mortal Kombat fan. And there was a few others here and there, but like I just remember like they had the whole maps of certain levels, and at
Oh,
the
yeah.
time, like that blew my mind. Like, how did they make these maps? How did they know exactly where to go? Of course, realizing now that these games, they're testing these games months before they're actually
Mhm.
released, and all the stuff happens months before it's even in print, and then there's like a whole process. But at the time, I was like, "Whoa, the game's not even out yet!"
Yeah. Like the first year or so, they would draw the maps. Like eventually they got around to just like pasting screenshot after screenshot together.
Right.
Like, and it would have to be a photograph that they would have to put on there and like photocopy it and whatever, which must have been painstaking. But the first few years, like I remember the palaces from Zelda 2.
Yes.
They had two whole issues where they were in there, and they were hand drawn as best as they could, and they had like little art snippets on the side. And I had like photocopies of them on like the longer paper that I would bring into school and share with friends.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like on what is it, legal size?
Yeah,
size
legal
paper?
size. Like 8.5 by 14.
By
or
14, yeah.
something. Yeah.
I don't know why that's legal paper, but well, sure, why not? I'm
You know what?
assuming lawyers use it, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know.
They talk
Maybe.
a lot. They write a lot.
We should ask Evan Hansen.
We should.
Maybe he'll be able to give us. You know what? You touched on something I kind of wanted to bring up, and I was actually going to eventually bring this up. This was like one of those magazines, like you said, if you were like done with a bunch of games, you just kind of give your copy to your friend. Like
Mhm.
it was like something like everyone just kind of passed around. Like I had one friend, he had a lot of Nintendo Power, and he like gave me the WrestleMania,
Nice.
and I think it was the Batman. I can't remember what
That
the other
was
one
such
was.
a good cover.
That was
That
a good
cover
one.
was
Yeah.
insane.
It had like smiling Jack Nicholson Joker was most of the cover. Yeah, like
Yup.
Michael Keaton
I mean-
Batman's off to the side. No, he's up in like the rafters.
Well, let's also not forget who was the first one in the
He
credits.
was top billed,
Right.
yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
So it kind of makes sense. I'm sure Jack Nicholson got some portion of that too. But
Yeah. Oh yeah. When you're
Probably.
licensing your likeness out,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh
you're
my
Jack
gosh, yes.
Nicholson, you're definitely making bank.
oh yeah, but yeah, no, this was a magazine like everybody like you would just
Mhm.
kind of hand off to a friend after you were like done for maybe like a month.
Mhm.
and you would just be like, "Here, if you need anything,
Yeah,
just
use it.
take
Yeah.
the magazine. I don't care. It's not
I
good for
let
me
my
anymore."
friend borrow magazines, but they always gave them back. I don't think I
Well-
was a stickler about like, can I have a magazine back? I don't think I was like that, but I eventually got them all back. I don't know.
That's
Oh, wow.
cool. Your friends
Yeah.
are better than mine because I've lent out so
no.
many things and never gotten them back.
Oh no!
Wow, Mike, he and I, we're his friends, and he's saying your friends are better than us. That's wild. That's really mean. Didn't expect such rudeness.
No, my friends growing up.
Oh, so they're better than us. I see. Okay.
Well, I
Cool.
haven't let you guys borrow
No,
anything yet.
his friends are better
Mhm.
than my friends growing up.
I know. I know. That was my attempt at comedy, and it's not exactly going.
I got it. It's funnier when
No,
you
you
drag
It's
it
been
out.
a long day. It's
Yeah,
been a long
it
day.
has
I'm
for
sorry.
everybody. I can't wait for this episode not to be nominated next year.
But like, you're right. It was like Garbage Pail Kids. You had extras and you'd give them out, or you're like,
Yes.
oh, I got Geeky Gary again. Here you go. Or whatever. It was like the same thing. You're like, okay, well, I beat this game, so take it and go. But it was cool because they had like player involvement. They had like polls, and so you would write in and answer the polls. I mean, I never did, but you could. People would. Did you?
Oh yeah. Because they
Makes
always
sense.
had contests attached to them.
They did. And they had
and
some
of
killer
them were
contests.
amazing. Some of them were just like win the phone booth from the Bill and Ted movie.
That's so crazy.
Somebody won that for filling out a card in Nintendo Power.
Then it came to their house, and they were like, "What do I do with this?"
Yeah, they had to just stick it in the middle of their door threshold.
Like, oh, it doesn't
And it
go
was
in
like
time?
a way into the room. Yeah.
They probably sold it for like $20 when they went to college. And they were just like, "Oh, what? Dude, no one cares about Bill and Ted. Who
Oh
cares?"
dear.
Dude, I would love that.
Now-
Like right now. That would be so awesome.
Here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, you said that you would fill those polls out and enter
Yes.
the contest. Did you ever write a letter, and was it ever published?
I was never.
Ooh.
My letters were never published. I used to draw in the envelopes.
Oh yeah.
They were.
Oh,
They would include artwork. People would draw these amazing collages
They
on
were
their
some good artists,
envelopes. They
yeah.
would put the letters in. Mine never got published in there. I did get my name and a high score in there that I'll talk about later.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
That's the
Nice.
best I got.
Well, now I feel bad that I didn't interact as much as I could have. I feel
Here's the thing. Nintendo Power always wrote back.
Mhm.
really?
They always wrote back, and they would always write back in a way that acknowledged that they read your letters.
That's
They
cool.
would reply to specific things and commenting on the artwork, like Mario and Mega Man sure look like they're having fun. We're not putting them in the magazine, but we saw your envelope.
Well,
and that was just that made a big impact on me growing up. They actually took the time to read every letter and respond to it. That was huge.
well, Gail Tilden, who pretty much was she pretty much ran the whole thing. She was
Yes.
director in charge of just about everything she oversaw.
Mhm.
She said that a lot of those envelopes actually they would just stick around the walls in the offices there.
Nice.
So your
Really?
art
That's
probably
fun.
could have inspired someone. I mean, the whole
Okay.
thing really was like a big customer retention program if you think
Oh, yeah.
about it. It's, it's like what can we do to make sure people keep coming back and buying more games and it worked because I mean
sure did.
it worked for me. I would save up as much as I could or whatever, try to get as many good grades as I could so I could get a new game.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was all in, and I gotta say, some of the games that we're going to be talking about in these couple of issues that we're going to be focusing on here, I don't remember a lot of them. I didn't play a lot of these games
Same.
here.
Yeah, I'm looking.
I don't
through and
remember
just
them now.
Heard of that game? Didn't play it. Heard of it?
Mhm.
Some of them I've never even heard of, like
Yep.
Faxanadu. That one I don't know.
Faxanadu they made a big deal out of, but I never actually played it. There
no.
was an episode of Captain N the Game Master based on Faxanadu. Never played it.
Was there? I don't
Oh
remember
yeah,
that.
I don't remember that.
there were dragons. No, wait, no, I'm thinking of the Dragon Warrior episode. I don't know. Something
Oh.
about a big tree, people living in a big giant tree village. I don't know.
I don't know.
They
either.
tried. They went in hard on Faxanadu. They went in hard on Dragon Warrior. They would give out
Mhm.
copies if you renewed your subscription. They sent me a copy of Dragon Warrior. I don't like turn-based RPGs. I finished Dragon Warrior because it was the least I could do for them sending me a game for like the $16 to renew my subscription.
It's funny how they like chose games too. So apparently it was Howard Phillips who was the fan club president, and
Yes.
he kind of also helped kickstart this whole thing. But it was him and a couple other guys, and they would play the games, and they would come up with their lists. And of course, they said there was always like a top tier, a huge middle chunk, and then of course the ones that were at the bottom. And so, as they started growing, they started getting some of the counselors involved. And so there was like, I think the game counselor 6 at first that helped decide which games were going on. And then there were like hundreds that they would just let them play these games and rank them. And they said the top portion was almost always clear cut. And of course, they were devoted the most amount of space in the magazine. And then it was like all the middle section that was the hardest to kind of break down and decide who was going to get what. And it's just really interesting. Like that seems tough. Like how do you pick when you have this huge chunk of like, decent games? They're not great, but they're decent, and they're all kind of ranked so close. Like what do you do? Just flip a coin at that point? I don't know, but I didn't envy them that.
That's a tough choice. I don't know how they would manage to do that. I'm sure a lot of it had to do with what sort of marketing materials did these third parties
Mhm.
offer to the magazine to get their game published, because there were a lot of games that got front cover that I'm just like, Vice Project Doom? I don't remember that game.
There's some crazy games out there, man. But like even looking at the ones in these issues here, like I vaguely recall Blaster Master. I never really played it.
Oh, my
remember
friend
that
had
at
Blaster
all.
Master. That was a trip of a game. That was a lot of fun. They
Don't
made a
remember.
sequel for the Switch when the Switch first came out. They did like Blaster Master Returns or something.
Oh really? Oh, I'm gonna have to hunt it
Yeah,
down
and-
now.
Oh, it's fun.
But like there's that one. Is it Racket Attack? I think was another one.
Is
I don't
that a
remember
tennis
that one
game?
either.
It was like a tennis game, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't play that.
No.
So
The only tennis game I ever played was that Snoopy, the Snoopy birthday games or something like that.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was like a Snoopy. Didn't you? It was like Snoopy's Sports or something like that. And you could play
Huh.
like tennis, couldn't you?
I
I
don't
don't know
remember
it.
either. That sounds cool
Oh
though.
my gosh, it wasn't as fun as it sounds. I'm
Gotcha.
just yeah, it was a little misleading. Yeah, it was Snoopy's Silly Sports Spectacular. Oh god,
Oh wow,
I love alliteration, but that's way too much.
that's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
That's
Silly
can you imagine
sports
being a kid and saying that? My gosh, it would be so frustrating.
I got to remember that next time I play categories.
Ooh,
Now, okay, before we really dive into these, because there's a couple issues I want to talk about, the November and December issues of 1988 and November, December issue of 1989. It was bi-monthly at the time. But before we dive in, I want to ask just a couple of quick questions. What would you say would be your all-time favorite Nintendo games? Like top 2 or 3?
Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Brothers 3, Mega Man 2.
Nice. Chad?
G.I. Joe.
It's a good one.
Super Mario 3. Although I feel like Super Mario 3 should be number 1. And as far as number 3, the first one that kind of comes to my head, and it's not really leaving, is for some reason Time Lord. I don't know why.
Time Lord.
So
Wow, what
Yeah.
a deep cut. Oh, I played
I-
Time Lord.
played that game, as frustrating as it was and annoying as it was. I loved that game. And honestly, okay, here's a little fun fact. The original intro to when I was doing the Horror Movie Barbecue podcast, that the intro to Time Lord was the theme song I wanted to use
Oh, nice.
as the intro to my show. And I was like, that's perfect. And I'll end it with the Thames ID from like Count Chocula.
Count Chocula.
And I was like, man, I'm probably going to get in trouble if I do this. So I kind of
Yeah.
skipped out.
Yeah, probably. You
Yeah.
probably get away with the second one, but no, not Time
I
Lord.
do.
No one
No,
remembers Time Lord.
No,
You
I
can do it.
loved Time Lord. It was such a weird game. Like you would go back in time and fight like bats in like alien snakes in like the medieval times.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was just a weird game. And So you know what? I don't even care. I'm going to I should have said Excite Bike, but we've already gone down Time Lord. Let's just keep it. Whatever.
That's fine. You can say Excite Bike
Good
too.
pick.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Let's tie them. Let's have those tied. Yeah. Okay.
I dig it. So I think mine would be Mega Man 2, then Castlevania.
That's a close number 4.
And then the third one's hard. I'd probably go with Contra.
Ooh.
Good pick. I played a lot of Contra.
And then as frustrating as it was, probably Ninja Turtles next.
The first one?
The first one. But
my favorite of the Ninja Turtles NES games, my favorite Ninja Turtles video game of all time is Turtles in Time.
Yep, same.
For Super NES.
Oh, okay.
But out of the NES ones, that third one's really, really good because they bring out like deep cuts. Like you fight
Triceraton, right?
And Triceraton, I think, is in there. Dirtbag.
Yep, Dirtbag.
Nice.
Was that the Manhattan?
The Manhattan Project.
Oh,
Manhattan Project. Thank you. Yeah,
because it even lifts Manhattan Island out of
out of the
ocean
weird.
and it's floating in the air. Just because,
as one does,
weird.
Yeah.
It's a super shredder.
We're stealing New York City, but not all of it.
Just the part that counts, I guess.
They can have it. Let them have it. Let them have a ball of a time with it. Who cares? Leave us the Toys R Us, though. No, leave us the Toys R Us.
That's right. Yeah.
Ferris wheel and all.
We have our priorities.
Wait. I'm sorry. Does Mike have a honorable mention? Because you and I both kind of cheated by saying 4. Yeah.
Castlevania might be my honorable mention.
Nice.
The intro to that game is still my ringtone.
Nice.
I thought it was Legend of Zelda. That was your ringtone.
That's my text tone.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
My text tone is when Mega Man dies. That.
Oh my God. It's terrible. Boo, boo, boo.
It's short and loud enough that I can still hear it when there's a crowded showroom at work. But
and when people recognize it, it's just like,
exactly.
That's the fun part.
Mike, by the way, this is a nice throwback to our very first podcast you and I ever did together. Witch's Night Out is still my ringtone because I don't know how to change it. I don't know how to change it. I'm too lazy and old.
But why would you?
I don't. Yeah, it's true.
That's a good one.
By the way, okay, I have one question. Is Mega Man 2 usually considered the favorite or the best of the series? Because you guys aren't the only ones that I've heard say that.
No, it is.
And then 3 is a close second.
3, there's usually next after that.
Okay.
Although the creators themselves
was like the rough draft.
I never hear anyone talk about that first one. It's usually like 2, 3, and 4.
Because it was the hardest one.
It's pretty tough. That was the first Mega Man game I had. Like I started with Mega Man 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I mean,
which not a lot of people I know did. They went straight into 2, but I got that first one.
Well, and
interesting.
My friend, same thing. I went to my friend's house. He had Mega Man, and because I played it at his house, and I thought this was really cool. Then I started renting it from the video games, the movie rental place, whatever. And so I got really into Mega Man, and I'll never forget. It was like right before church on a Sunday, and I was playing it, and right before we had to leave, and suddenly I switched to like one of the boss robot's weapons. And I was like, how did I do that? And I was trying to figure out how to switch. I was so excited. And I remember all throughout Mass, all I could think about was how do I change weapons in Mega Man?
Yeah, no,
what did I press
at that point?
What did I press?
Yeah.
But yeah, 2 is usually considered the best one. And then 3. Yeah. 3 was cool. You could slide and Rush was in there. But that one, Castlevania again, was always like a blast to play. The Simon's Quest was hard.
That was just a bonkers game. And I mean, thank goodness for that issue of Nintendo Power. I don't think I would have gotten as far as I did in Castlevania 2 without it. That issue had a great cover.
Is that the one where he's holding the severed head of Dracula?
He's holding Dracula's severed head in his hand.
Yep. It's
and
classic.
The head's got glowing eyes, and I read that parents called Nintendo and complained.
I read that too. Yep.
Did they go back and like re-edit it or like
Nope.
No, it was just the issue's out. And the next issue after that is the one we're talking about, and it's just here's a couple of sneakers with rockets on it for track and field 2.
Oh no.
I never played that game either. I gotta.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, it's just various Olympic events. And it's Olympic button mashing the game.
Oh, I got to. Okay. So because I didn't have a lot of games, I would either borrow them from friends, or whenever we'd go to the movie rental place, they would only have the very front cover. Like there was no back.
Okay.
So I never knew what it looked like until I actually plugged it in. It was just the cover box art.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I would just pick the game that I was renting based on the cover box art.
Right.
And so sometimes it was great, and most of the time it wasn't, and then I never played it again, you know?
No,
That's how they get you with those covers.
Yep.
That's right.
And the black and white Xeroxed instructions.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. They were usually like grainy. They were grayscale, so they were grainy and hard
terrible.
to read.
Just
and
give you a piece of paper or two. Hey, here's how I play. Thanks.
Bonus points if you actually tried to Xerox or photocopy the Xeroxed instructions.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. You got
You
this
had to,
blurry mess.
yeah.
And children, you needed those instruction manuals back in the day. The game didn't like hold your hand and tell you how to play it. If you didn't have a manual to teach you how to play, you were lost.
Yep.
Man,
Those are the days.
no wonder the angry video gamer nerd is so angry in those videos.
That's why,
Jeez.
yeah.
Man, we were stupid as kids.
Also true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a stupid kid.
Yep.
Wow.
But on the other hand, it was also still
Same.
kind of new. It was like new, you know.
was.
I mean, everything was new. It was
Yeah.
brave.
But
new
you know what's weird is like by the time Nintendo came along, didn't like home consoles, they were like 10 years old at that point, kind of.
They crashed, and then this was like the big resurgence.
rebirth.
Comeback, yeah. It was like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Nintendo was
It was what,
yeah, they
Commodore
were-
64, and you had what in television?
I had in television, yes.
I had the Commodore. I had the
Nice.
Commodore computer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like the one that you slid like the cartridge in.
Mhm.
I had Alpiner. Like I remember that one.
Yes, my cousin had that. That was fun.
Because you would like fall and he would be like, "Whoa," and like the narration would just be sarcastic as hell. It would just be sarcastic, and it would just be like, "Snakes ahead, don't fall." And it was like,
in the
oh,
Alpine.
okay. I'm kind of sad that we didn't get a Commodore Power magazine. That would have been great.
right.
That
they
would have been a
probably
big
had-
hit with the
They
kids.
probably had a newsletter too.
They might have. I
don't know.
I honestly don't know.
That sounds like something I want to dig up. That sounds terrible.
It does sound terrible.
Sounds awful.
Terribly
Sounds boring.
delightful.
Yeah, I like it. It's like a
No.
fanzine. It's like a
Yeah.
punk rock fanzine.
Basically,
It's just
well,
like
that's what the
photocopies.
Nintendo Fun Club kind of was.
That's kind of what
So-
it was, yeah. And it
So
was all
can I tell-
free. They were like losing just money basically off of all that stuff there with their 600,000 subscribers.
So I'm going to confess, I didn't know that Nintendo Power sprung from the Nintendo Fun Club or whatever. You guys keep saying. I didn't know that until we started recording, and you
Well,
said it.
Well, according to Gail Tilden, who, like I mentioned, was in charge of the whole thing, she basically realized that like they were losing money in advertising by doing this. And yeah, it was great for customer retention. It was helping kids out, but they were losing money. So they kind of morphed it into that Nintendo Power. Although she said that I think they gave the first issue away
Mhm.
and they gave away 3.6 million copies of it. So
Wow.
thinking about that, that's a lot of money that is going down the drain as well. But
That-
it first, what was it, 15, 16
Wow.
bucks for the subscription?
No.
I mean, that's
For a
not
year? Yeah.
Oh, a
Yeah.
subscription. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
that would
I mean,
make more sense.
that's not bad if you think about it, because you'll recoup all that money
Oh,
in
Yeah.
no time. But 3.6
did.
million, that's crazy.
So then, does that issue, the first issue, go for a lot of money? I mean, because 3.6 million, that
If
seems
it's
like
in
a
good condition, probably.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
None of my
Okay.
issues that I had kept for years and years. I don't have any of them anymore. But when I did,
Well, you don't
I
collect
tried to-
anything anyway.
I don't, right?
Mhm.
But I held on to those
Smart.
issues for
Yeah.
quite a bit, and
Mhm.
they were all in terrible condition because I read them
Because you, yeah.
over and over and over again.
Yep.
And like some of them were falling apart, including that first issue with Mario and a blue hat for no reason.
Why was he? Why? Yes. Why did he have a blue hat?
Off-model Mario. Good. That's the clay they had. I don't know.
Ugh,
They just
gross.
ran out of red clay.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that checks out. Yeah, so but these covers were amazing. Everything in these issues were cool. They had their little like, you know, the poll area, they had their art area that we talked about, they had their counselor's corner, things like
Yep.
that. I mean, just all these different, what's the word I'm looking for? Not articles,
Sections.
sections.
Content.
There you go. Yeah, I'll take that. All these different sections that would be in a standard magazine. So it's kind of cool. But let's
It's essentially what blogging turned into. Let's be honest.
I mean,
Not
kind of, yeah. So let's take a look at issue, or I guess volume 3 from 1988. This is the November-December issue. And like you mentioned, it's got Track and Field 2 on the cover. On the inside, with covers Track and Field 2, Mickey Mousecapade. Did you play that one?
Oh, my neighbor had that game notoriously hard
Yes.
for a game where you play as Mickey and Minnie Mouse.
That's all that I remember.
Super
is
hard. There
never
are only
getting
5
far.
levels to this thing. I've finished it maybe twice.
Wow.
Vaguely remember it. Vaguely.
I'm pretty sure I didn't get past level 1. That's how much I
Yeah.
played it.
same.
Just not getting past level 1, and then I moved on to something else that I could beat.
No.
Blaster Master, like we talked about, and then some other ones that I only vaguely remember. Blades of Steel, Cobra Command. Do you remember Cobra Command?
I know of Cobra Command, but I didn't play it ever.
Yeah,
The title was way cooler than the actual game.
I was gonna say that game
Like,
threw
this
me
isn't
off.
about G.I. Joe.
I mean, yeah,
it
we're all.
probably threw a lot of people. Like, this isn't a G.I. Joe game.
I'm pretty
What
sure
is
that's
this?
why I rented it.
This has nothing to do with G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
So but then there's some other ones. Racket Attack, like we talked about, it's a tennis one. They did a Captain Nintendo little segment, which is not Captain N that you're thinking of. It's
But
Uh-huh.
this is kind of the advent
Uh-huh.
of
Right.
what would become Captain N. So this is like an origin story that someone like
Uh-huh.
it's this fictional piece
mhm.
about this kid who becomes Captain Nintendo, and the powers in this little short story are way cooler than the ones that Captain N had in the game.
I would have loved to
They're
have
trying to sell Nintendos. Look, he's got a Nintendo belt buckle, which I totally made as an adult, and my wife hated.
He's wearing it right now.
I wish I still had it.
Oh man, now I want one. Just talking about it, knowing that you can make them.
Well, guess what you're getting for Christmas?
I hope so. I hope so. No, but yeah, like this kid, he could bring to life animated video game characters, and he could control light, and I mean, all sorts of like crazy powers that this guy gets. But it is the evolution of how Mother Brain becomes Mother Brain, I guess.
Big Bad. Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
They had Ganon in this story too, which
And it had
eventually made his way into the TV show, but not until season 2.
right, and that's when Link and Zelda came out as well.
Yes, best episode.
Yeah,
You're a real video legend where I come from, Link. Hey, what happened to your leg?
Oh, it's nothing. Pulled a muscle dodging boomerangs. Goes with the territory, you know.
Yeah.
So, Captain N, is this the famous zapper I've heard so much about?
The one and only. But hey, call me Kevin. All my friends do.
You two heroes can pat yourselves on the back some other time. We have important business.
Oh yeah, right, Ganon.
yeah, those are cool. I always hated though in Captain N that they made Mega Man green for some reason. Like that just blew my mind.
They didn't
Everybody
really.
was kind
They
of-
only had licensing to names and I guess not likenesses because Mega Man looked very different and he had that robot voice.
Mega.
But
Mega
then
wow.
you had Simon from Then you had Simon from Castlevania, who's like this alpine climber
I mean, he
instead
was-
of a vampire hunter. He had
He was
this
Johnny
weird
Bravo,
puffy jacket.
Right. He was
He
basically
was
Johnny,
Johnny Bravo.
It was
yeah.
Johnny Bravo.
Like ridiculously tan.
Yeah, in the Alpine
He looked like
jacket, yeah.
Hasselhoff.
That's
He was cartoon Hasselhoff.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Simon Belmont will save you.
Simon running in the sand very slowly.
Yep.
Someone's drowning, and you use your whip to save him.
Yeah, such a weird show.
Yeah, but that was a great show. But this Captain Nintendo, completely different. So
Mhm.
don't get your hopes up. But then it jumps straight into like, some of these game things, and we talks about Track and Field 2, which is that button smasher you were talking about. I never played
Olympic
Track and
button
Field.
mashing.
It just didn't quite do it for me. And the cover art didn't look very good.
Track and Field was the one that came with the power pad, right? The first one?
No, that was no. That's called World Class Track Meet.
Thank
Mm.
you.
friend
Okay.
had.
Then I
And
don't
who
remember.
else
Then I
totally
must have-
cheated and used your hands?
Yep, same.
I mean, of course.
Oh, I'm doing
was
the
gonna say
long
that
jump.
I'm-
I'm just gonna jump off the mat. Oh, he went 15 feet. But there was a cutoff. It's just like if you tried to jump like 30 feet or something, it was just like, no, you'd fall on your face. Game's not stupid.
Yeah.
But you could do like a 4-second 100-meter dash.
So then I must have been confusing Track and Field and whatever the game Mike said it was my whole life.
Yeah.
Because I thought Track and Field.
No,
came
this
with
is
it.
a Konami
That's
game,
weird.
and it's just
Ugh.
different events, like
Taekwondo.
fencing and a triple jump. And again, it was all
Pole vault.
button mashing. So you could do really well if you had a controller with turbo settings.
Oh,
which
nice.
I didn't.
I didn't
I
either.
had the NES
Disgusting.
Advantage joystick, which
Oh.
I loved. I would set it up. I had
wait,
like a
wait.
little Tykes table
Oh, okay.
that I would turn on its side so I could stand up and pretend
Like
it
at
was,
an
I was
arcade,
standing in an
yeah.
arcade cabinet. Yeah.
Right on.
Wait,
Smart.
Mike.
So
No.
I'd have my little mini video Armageddon in my basement.
But
All right.
no, that's cool. Like to stand up in an arcade. I never had a joystick. The only time I ever used joystick was either at the arcade or like on an Atari.
Okay.
So I never used it with the Nintendo. So I don't think I would have been good with with this game. But you never know. I probably could have done like the horizontal bars or something, something ridiculous.
Yeah, that one it was a lot of control pad.
Yeah. But then there was Mickey Mousecapades, which we talked about, and I do recall looking at all these levels. I do recall the first one, and I recall not being very good at it. So
It was tough.
it was tough. It was super tough. Yeah. But okay, so now we come to my favorite part of the magazine, which was the Howard and Nestor comics. Like
Howard and Nestor.
I loved these guys. Were you more Howard or more Nestor?
Oh, I was all Team Nestor.
Me
Even though
too.
he was like he was like the kid, the know-it-all kid who tries to impress everyone with his gaming skills, and he has none. And it's Howard Phillips, so he's
Right.
like the professional expert, and like he's the one giving out tips in this game. In this one, they're inside Castlevania 2
Yes.
with a couple of fans. Asking a question on how to get to this one mansion. And it was one of those things where if you didn't have Nintendo Power or you didn't find out from your friends how to do this trick
Oh,
where
man.
a tornado would like warp you to the
Yep.
entrance of this mansion, you were just lost.
Yep.
Mhm.
Because the game had like towns that you could like get hints from villagers in, but some of them lied. So it was useless.
Well, and not just that, if you actually did figure it out, you had a time limit. Like you had to complete this within like a week or you would lose. You know?
Oh, right. Yeah. Or because that was a game like Metroid where like your ending depended on how quickly you beat the game. And
Yep.
I'm not a speed runner. So Metroid, Castlevania 2, I
Yeah.
can't speed run through those games. So I always got the bad ending, which is like, you beat the game, but you're going to die anyway.
But you died.
Mhm.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
You and your
No,
friends are dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can speed run certain games. Like I totally DuckTales is one I can do awesome. I can do, of course, like I said, Mega Man 2, no problem. But Castlevania 2, no. I mean, that's like a
Mhm.
hard
Yeah.
pass. I just couldn't do it.
Can I tell you guys? I tried to play Castlevania once and I failed so miserably. I said I am never playing a Castlevania game ever again. And then about how many games came out after that? It was like, oh, okay,
There's
let's
what,
have
like,
consistent. Yeah.
Number 4 for the Super Nintendo is my favorite. It is one of my favorite games of all time.
I've heard that's a really
The
good
soundtrack is amazing.
What's the Castlevania everyone always says to avoid? Is it 2? or 3?
I think so.
I think
Probably
it is 2. I think it is
Yeah.
2. Yeah.
It's a completely different game from the rest of the series, and it plays
Yeah.
more like Metroid, where you're just trying to find your way through this entire world of Transylvania, and it's a
Mhm.
whole map, and you have to like go into different mansions and get to the end of them, and you get pieces of Dracula that have been
Yeah.
separated in these mansions, like
Pieces of
Okay.
Dracula.
Dracula's rib is in here, Dracula's heart is in here, and you have to like put them all together
Yeah. Hmm.
and resurrect him so you can like kill him for good or something.
Yeah,
Weird
yeah.
story.
That sounds annoying.
Oh, because like Simon
It
is
was.
cursed, so the quest is you have to resurrect Dracula to break this curse.
No,
Mhm.
no.
Although I think canonically,
Yeah.
he loses anyway, right? He still beats Dracula but dies anyway. I think that's like the official
Sure.
canon story.
Well, death comes
for
for us
him.
all in the end.
Wow, that got dark really quick. But yeah, so then Blaster Master is the next one they talk about. Again, I never played it, so I don't really have a whole lot of experience with this, but it looks fun.
It's fun. There's a side-scrolling element where you're in this vehicle that can jump and has rockets on it, and
That's
then
cool.
there's an overhead segment of it like Zelda where you're up close to these enemies and you're blasting them with your little ray gun.
I'm good at side scrollers. The overhead, I'm not,
Me
not quite
too,
as
yeah.
good at.
You know what? Those are my preferred games, but
I think mine
would
too.
not say that I'm not. I would not say I'm good at them.
I gotcha.
I
Yeah.
would not say I'm good at that.
Yeah, side scrolling platformers, beat 'em ups. Those are like my jams. Those and, and fighting games. I'm like really good at fighting games, but some of those RPGs I'm not so good at. So
Games where I don't need skill, I'm going to play. I don't need strategy. I don't need to think. I'll just start grabbing things and run. I'm gonna lose anyway. Why
Sometimes
not?
They're the most fun.
sometimes they
Yeah.
are the most fun. Yeah,
Hey.
it reminds me of Ninja Turtles, the arcade.
Oh,
man.
yes.
So good.
Beautiful. I'm so
Mhm.
glad they ported that
That
over
was
to NES to make up for their.
Oh yeah.
I,
Oh I
Yes.
would- yeah.
Yes,
Otherwise, it would have so much of my money.
or the X-Men arcade as well.
They should have ported that over instead of that.
They should
That
have.
horrific. That and Silver Surfer. I don't know what.
Because it was
Silver
LJN.
Surfer.
it was LJN,
The
right?
thing
Yeah.
was-
Yeah.
It was LJN. That game was great. It had like an amazing soundtrack.
No, the soundtrack was the thing
Yeah.
I think everyone loves the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
They put it on
hardest game
vinyl,
I've
didn't
ever
they?
played.
Didn't they put
Did
the
they
Silver
put it on
Surfer?
vinyl?
I think they did.
It would not surprise me.
Oh, I got
I'm
a
gonna look
project
this
when we're done here.
Oh, soundtrack vinyl. I could almost swear. I'm willing to bet my pet monster.
I don't know. I mean,
Yes, they
wow.
did in 2020. Yep.
That's cool.
On 2020, okay.
That checks out.
Absolutely deserves
That
it.
scans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's the next episode of the Advent Calendar. Is us hunting that down.
But the that X-Men game was terrible.
Terrible. Nope.
And I remember being super into the X-Men at that time, and I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to play this game." And it's another one where it's like, a top-down view, but they're these little like stick figure kind of guys, and you can go through.
Oh goodness, it's so tiny on a big map. You can't see
Yeah,
what's it shooting at you.
yeah, it
And
was
you're
bad.
dead in like 5 minutes. And then like
Then their
you could
Wolverine
be
game was pretty
Nightcrawler.
okay. Oh yeah,
Nightcrawler was great because he was fast, but if you like morphed into a wall, you died.
yeah. Isn't that the whole point of teleporting? Is that you can?
Yeah,
you go
like
through
that's
things?
the reason you pick Nightcrawler, and it
Exactly.
kills you.
Terrible.
But yeah, it was bad. I vaguely recall their Wolverine game being pretty good.
It was better than the X-Men game, but it was still. It had a lot of issues, and it had a lot to be desired. I don't think X-Men got really good. Even that Genesis game was just.
The first
it was
Genesis
okay.
game was okay.
It was okay.
The
It was-
the second
all
one
right.
was pretty good with the phalanx. Like
Mhm.
I liked that one where you could be Magneto. That was cool.
Oh, I forgot you could be Magneto in that. That's right.
The
Yeah.
X-Men shined in the arcade with that 6-player one and
Yeah.
the Street Fighter one, Children of
Yep.
the Atom.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, Children of the Atom was great.
Those are so good.
Oh yeah.
But then we get a nice little advertisement for accessories and things that would make great Christmas gift ideas. Hence our Christmas
Yes.
tie-in.
Powerful
Gift ideas because
Uh-huh.
you need to have the word power in there.
Uh-huh.
I had that sleeping bag that they have in here. They call it a slumber bag. That I
Oh,
had
my
the
word.
lunchbox.
Lumber bag. That's funny.
You had-
Wow.
The lunchbox had the
So which lunch-
backpack. Did not have. They have some. They have
Wow.
this weird controller in here called the Rollin' Rocker, which you're supposed to like. They had Nintendo like tried to do
They
so
tried.
many of these things. Like,
They wanted you to break your neck.
they wanted you to break your neck. They had the power pad. Like another
Mhm.
company did the power glove.
Mm.
Like, this is by some other
Yes.
third company. I'm not sure who it is, but the Rollin' Rocker. You ever go to a science museum and they have some kind of motion sensor hooked up to a screen and it's
Mhm.
always terrible?
Yep.
Mhm.
It's always terrible. I went last week on my daughter's field trip to the Kennedy Space Center, the place where they send rockets to space, and they had a terrible motion sensor activity. I'm just like,
You're
I guess they're
NASA.
spending all their money sending people to space
Like,
that they don't have enough to make a decent thing of this.
How
That's
dare
what
they.
the Rollin' Rocker looks like to me.
By the way, I need to point out the game pack carrier in this.
Mhm.
Is that the same one Lucas had in The Wizard?
Oh man.
Yes, but Lucas's was black because I have the same black one.
Oh nice.
But
Mhm.
same thing. It's like a leather, like almost like alligator skin.
Oh wow.
Really? That's what it's made of? It looks like
Wow.
kind of just
That's
vinyl.
what I don't think it really is, but it has that
Like-
pattern to it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
that kind of
okay.
texture. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, the
You know what else I remember for some reason around this time? Again, I was like 6. This is issue 3. No. So yeah, this is issue
Yeah.
3. So I was 5.
Mhm.
I tend to remember, like as a kid, suspenders were a big deal.
Yeah, they were in the 80s.
Like especially, yeah. Like what the heck? Like I had Ninja Turtles. I had one friend that had a He-Man. Yeah, another friend had a WWF one. It was like they would just make suspenders, and we ate them up.
I remember having one pair of suspenders and they were just plain gray.
I had a pair of red
I-
ones, but that's because in 5th grade I got a bunch of friends and we danced the Urkel for the talent show.
Oh dear gosh!
We
I
won
hope
first
there's
place.
a video of this. Oh, I hope so.
Oh.
We totally won
worth
first
it.
place. Yeah.
Can I? Okay. Well, time out. It's time that I confess something.
Okay.
In 2nd grade, me and my best friend of 35 years now, and our
Mhm.
other friend were doing breakdancing, and we were calling ourselves the Hammer Kids, and we were just dancing to
Nice.
Zubaz and whatever we could find.
Oh.
That's
So I've got
awesome.
no room to judge you.
That's awesome though.
No, it was not, and I've destroyed every copy that exists.
I'm sure someone has a copy out there of me
I was not
somewhere.
in a talent show in school.
Oh,
Well, the only reason I
That's
wanted
sad.
to do it is because it was actually a cash prize,
hmm.
$25 for
They're
first place.
bribing you.
So I was like,
Oh.
yeah, I'll do it. Of
Okay.
course, stupid me, I got my friends to do it. There were 5 of us, so we each got $5 instead of me by myself with
Ah.
25. But
No.
still, you know,
Way to go.
yeah, I know. Like you said, we were dumb.
Mhm.
But back, so then we get to RPGs. There's an Ultima. Again, I think I actually played this one. This one seemed very familiar.
I didn't.
Like
I
I
don't
remember,
remember
like
this.
looking at these little
I-
figures. I remember the was it the little blue one with the like the Shogun looking samurai helmet? I don't know. It's very very familiar.
Fighter, his name is. Like, yeah, it's you have all these different
For
classes of warriors you
yeah.
could choose in your party in Ultima. It looks very much like, well, like Dragon Warrior after it.
The 5 tribes of Sosaria.
Oh dear.
That's
I
terrible.
love that Phil Collins song. That's one of my favorites.
Some of these outfits look cool, like this paladin with the
sorry.
heart-shaped shield. She's awesome.
Paladin. That's cool. The Ranger looks cool.
Oh,
I mean, it's
well.
basically like Dungeons and Dragons.
Mhm.
Yeah,
8-bit D&D.
That's all this is.
That's all it is, 8-bit
Yeah.
D&D. But it seems very familiar. Then there was Legacy of the Wizard, so another one. we get the counselor's
the
A
quarters.
friend of mine from school had this, but
Oh yeah.
Not the wizard.
yeah, didn't get very far. It's like a dungeon crawler, but it's side scrolling.
Ugh. Ew.
But
The dragon looks pretty cool.
yeah,
for
not
8-bit,
great.
though.
Never got to the dragon. Never saw the dragon.
Oh my gosh. I'm looking at these games and I'm just falling asleep looking at them. I can't
Yeah.
imagine actually playing. These just look.
They're like just generic
these look
games, right?
frustrating.
But they must have been
Yeah.
pretty fun because like the counselors picked
Well, that's
them.
why they only get like 2 pages each.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Maybe there's that middle chunk we talked about.
This
Well.
is the middle chunk. This is
Yeah.
just like, also, this exists.
Mm-hmm.
There are people out there who love and swear by Legacy of the Wizard, and bless all
Yeah,
of them.
and then we have like some advertisements for others coming up, and then we get that mysterious Minus World in Super Mario Brothers.
Oh,
Yeah, this is where I learned about the Minus World for the first time.
I am. Wait, what is this?
It's like
We're on the counselor's corner. No, this is classified
information. Yeah.
Oh,
So
then I can't
The
hear
like the secret hints. Like this is where I learned about the Konami code.
it. Oh,
Because they said they showed you how to upgrade
hmm
your ship in Gradius.
Oh yeah.
Where I learned about that.
Yep,
This
there
is
it
where
is.
I learned about the Minus World.
Yeah, it's like a hack where you basically
Xanic?
break. You kind of like break the game, and you're stuck underwater like forever. But it's cool.
Circross? Cirrus?
I have no idea what that
What's this
says.
say?
Cycross, I
I
think.
can't
it's,
even read that.
It's an I and then
Cy-
a C. I think it's
is it really-
pronounced Cycross. Never played it. It
Oh,
looks like
Cycross.
Space Invaders, but sideways.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Is this like a Rob Liefeld character? Like, what is with this name? I hate it.
Sounds like what? This is Cycross. He looks like
my
Wolverine, but he's really
gosh.
short.
Yeah.
And he has an eye patch. Come on,
And he has
damn it,
like
Bruce.
72 pockets
It's not claws
and
from his
tiny
knuckles.
feet.
It's his. They look like horseshoes. His feet look like horseshoes.
He has hooves.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember these games. I hated Akari Warriors. I think I was the only one that didn't like that game.
I remember.
So there
Akari
was the
Warriors.
second one?
They made
Oh
two.
my gosh.
I think they
would've-
made 3 actually.
I think they
never
did.
played
I
the
think
third
you're
one.
right. I want to say you're
So
right.
then someone must have liked them.
I guess so. They remind me of a friend of mine had Gunsmoke, which was very similar to Akari
Oh
Warriors,
my
but it was
gosh.
I remember
West.
Gunsmoke.
Ew.
Yeah, I played that.
Wasn't
one.
it just like
Gunsmoke was better. It was Capcom. It was
Yeah.
Capcom, so it was better.
Capcom. They knew their games.
but wasn't that like one of those games where it was like you just shoot at the screen? Am I remembering that right?
No,
The
no,
Gunsmoke?
no. You're
Mm-mm.
thinking of Operation Wolf.
But it was like a Western, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Are you
Or
thinking of
maybe,
Wild Gunman?
maybe.
Oh yeah, maybe that's what he's thinking
Okay.
of. Yeah.
Maybe.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
It
yes,
is
yes.
Wild Gunman.
It
Oh
is.
jeez, I hadn't
I
thought
don't
about
know.
that in years.
Neither is Marty
We
McFly.
get more like this random stuff. There's the NES Advantage, the NES Max, which
There it
actually the NES Max is kind of looks like a lot of modern controllers.
It does.
It
Mhm.
does, but like the circle pad,
The
it like
cycloid.
slid. It felt weird because you had to. Yeah, but you had to press down on it to do it. I think it was.
I
It was
don't
more
know.
awkward than it looked. Friend of mine had it. I didn't like it, but
And
the
then-
advantage I will swear by to this day.
Quite a few pages dedicated to anticipation.
No. Ew.
Anticipation. Friend of mine had it is.
Ugh.
It is Pictionary. It is stupid.
And look at these
It
characters.
just
that they
made me
drew.
want to play actual Pictionary.
Well, that's like when in 6th grade we had this contest, and if you read enough books, then you'd
Wait a
get
minute.
points, and then you'd be able to like buy stuff from the store at the school.
Yeah.
And one of them was Classic Concentration for Nintendo, and and I
they had
bought
a
it.
classic
They
concentration
had a
game.
Classic Concentration game, and I thought it was like, whoa, it's a Nintendo game, cool, and it was terrible. I mean, it was
Of course it
Classic
was.
Concentration. It was fun, but
Do you guys see on the illustration this redheaded kid?
uh-huh.
His hoodie says NES boy, and he's
Yeah.
with his, I
Oh,
assume,
no.
mother or grandmother here or something. Like this is very unsettling. Like I hate this. Who can play? We can
Yeah,
all
they
play.
they drew like
Hey.
4 different characters because it's a game that you could play with 4
Oh.
people
With everybody.
by passing the
yeah.
controller
Oh
around.
my
Yeah.
gosh. They look like a very bad Ralph Bakshi creation. Like
They
all
do,
of
yes.
them. They
do.
just I can't look
Yeah.
at these.
If you squint hard enough, you can see Fritz the cat there.
Oh, you really can.
That's the nerdy one with the bow tie.
That's
Mm,
right.
yep.
yeah.
Oh gosh, he really
Oh
does.
man. And then we get
they?
a bunch of other things: Tecmo Bowl, Dr. Chaos, Ghostbusters. There's a little bit on Ghostbusters there.
What's Ghostbusters?
That game was so bad.
Never heard of it.
Dead. Yeah.
Oh, was that the one? Oh, wait a minute. That's the one where it's like the end screen is like got like 5 typos and it says congratulations on playing
Yeah.
a great
Yeah.
game and they were lying. And by the
Yeah.
way, I think they
They
misspelled congratulations wrong.
They probably did.
They made the joke in the movie where there's a bunch of stairs and they get tired part of this game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You had to button mash up the stairs. Oh, it was
Well, that's
so
what the kids-
stupid.
That's what the kids love, climbing stairs.
Yeah.
They love throwaway gags that no one talks about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Put that in the video game. Mhm.
And then last thing for this issue before we move on, the giveaway, the giant holiday
Uh-oh.
giveaway, over 600
Mhm.
winners, a trip for 4 to Disneyland.
To Disneyland.
Never heard of it.
One big grand prize. That's crazy.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm sorry to burst any bubbles. When did this issue come out? 88 or 89?
It's the 88 one.
88.
Okay, so the next issue that we're going to cover is 89, right?
Right.
So
right.
then they were probably still in pre-production for The Wizard around this time,
hmm
which they had a very big, Universal Studios is a very big deal. Why wouldn't you
Oh.
spring for
Why
Universal
wouldn't you?
Studios?
That's a good question.
I wonder if
Yeah.
they didn't. I wonder if they didn't have the deal with Universal yet. I
Oh,
wonder if that
okay.
was something
Could
that
be,
they
yeah.
kind of fit in later and just like, all right, this is where we're able to do it, so we're going to write this scene later. That's the only thing I can
Oh.
think of.
And then last thing, so then we have our top 30 and the top 5, I just want to say, are Legend of Zelda, Metroid, Metal Gear, Punch-Out, and Gauntlet.
Gauntlet.
So
We had Metal Gear. My dad and I played a lot of Metal Gear. The
That's
first
cool.
one for the NES, which a lot of good memories with that one. But that was a slog getting through that.
I bet, yeah.
But please note that Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link is number 8, the 8th greatest Nintendo game of November 1988 because it's good, and I will die on that hill.
It's still fun. It is. It's just different, and I think that's
It is
what.
still fun.
that's
It
what
is
made
different.
people
They went back
upset,
to the
yeah.
original formula.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So let's talk Nintendo Power number 9. This is from November, December of
Yes.
1989, and of course we have another "Give the Gift of Power" ad with the Nintendo Power stuffed in a red stocking on a green background, so it looks very Christmassy.
That's a big stocking.
And then, what I really loved about this issue, Willow. Willow was like one of my
Yes.
favorite movies when it came out. For my birthday that year, when it came out on video, all I wanted was to watch Willow with my friends. And of course, we're all like 8-year-old, 9-year-old boys. So we watched like 30 minutes of it, and then we got up and started playing. But as soon as like the party was done and it was awesome, like I went back and sat down and like finished watching Willow. Like that's how much I liked Willow. And the game was okay.
It was all right. It's very
Yeah,
much.
that's kind of where I stand on it.
It's very much like Zelda. It actually reminded me. You ever play the Goonies 2?
Yes, I love the Goonies too.
They made a sequel to the Goonies, but it was a game. It's a lot like that, but only the side. It was only top down.
Yeah, yeah. The Goonies
But
2
this
was a fun
cool.
game.
It was like Goonies 2 meets Zelda, and it was okay.
Yeah, and then they took the story, and of course, you had to beef it up, I guess, and so there was a few new characters and random
completely
things, but yeah, it was cool. But the main draw of this one was Tetris. Tetris is on the cover,
Tetris.
and now they're making a movie about it. So
They are. I'm excited about this
I am
movie.
too. I'm
It's
super interested. It's very intriguing.
It is the most coked up thing I have seen all year. And they're making a movie called Cocaine Bear.
Yes.
And this is more so than that. This is like the most 1989 movie.
Yeah. But it's I mean, it looks really cool. We got to bring Tetris to the US. Let's go talk to the communists. I mean, it's like, what? All right. I'm all in. Let's do this. But they
So all
give you
kinds of Tetris tips here.
Yeah, it's strategies, how to play, and I mean, it's good tips here.
Howard's tips for advanced players.
Well, we get Howard and Nestor cartoon as well, where they go to the moon?
The moon from DuckTales, the level from DuckTales. So that's why there are ducks in all through this. And Gizmo Duck makes a cameo at the end.
It's a bird! It's a plane! It's a bird and a plane! It's Gizmo Duck! Luckily, I was in the vicinity promoting my new book, Gizmo Duck, The Making of a Superhero, soon to be a major motion picture. But more about that later, friends.
He does, although he's painted different.
Well, yeah, they all got to be off model.
That's
Because
right.
they don't get, yeah,
Yeah,
names, but not likenesses.
They don't want to get sued. Yeah.
Right.
And then we got the game Off-Road, which I do remember playing. I was not very good at.
So bad. No, I was
Yeah.
so bad because it controlled like a remote control car where
Yes.
up is always forward.
Yes.
But the screen didn't change. So it was much like controlling a remote control car. So you got to know that up is always forward. And I never got the hang of that. Even
I never did
with
either.
Actual RC.
Yeah, I never did either. We get Iron Sword.
That's the sequel to Wizards and Warriors. That's the game with Fabio on the cover.
It totally is.
Yup.
Oh man, yeah, that totally is. It's a great game, great.
Yes.
And then RoboCop, which I never. Yeah, I'm surprised I never played RoboCop. Like that seems like one I would have played because I loved the movie, which I shouldn't have been watching at my age. But it was the '80s.
That's another one my neighbor had.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay. RoboCop, you couldn't jump in that game.
You couldn't jump.
No, you couldn't jump. The B button was punch and A button was take out your gun.
Oh wow!
But you couldn't jump.
No, I don't remember.
Which I
it.
guess maybe he's just really heavy.
Well, I mean, come to think of it, I don't remember.
Yeah,
him jumping in
RoboCop
the
didn't
game.
do a lot of jumping in the movie,
Yeah.
so
it means he can't jump. Play action football. I didn't play this one. I played
play
Tecmo
action
Bowl.
football is the worst. It is an assault to football. Oh, it's an insult to both actual football and actual video games. It's
Well,
terrible.
then I'm glad I didn't play it. Let's see.
Nothing is better than Tecmo Bowl for me, not even Madden, but play action football was so bad. They went with this weird overhead shot at a 45-degree angle, which looks neat, but it plays like garbage.
So I'll be honest. The best game, video game of football that I'm best at is Mutant League Football.
Mutant League Football.
For some reason, I could play that one and I was good at it. Everything else was like, it was a crapshoot pretty much. But Tecmo Bowl was fun. I do remember that.
Tecmo Super Bowl is my go-to football game.
Then the Power Glove and U-Force.
Okay.
Power Glove, terrible.
What is that? I don't know. Power Glove.
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
Oh, sure.
But I remember
Power Glove looked really
looked
cool.
Yeah.
I bought one. I had it for a week. Could not play with it. Returned it. Bought Double Dragon 2 instead.
Oh, that's an upgrade.
Quitter.
Yeah, it was. It
Double
was
Dragon 2
so
was
bad,
awesome.
literally.
Yeah.
Yes. No, not with that attitude. It wasn't. You know what really kind of stunk the worst about the Power Glove, other than everything? Here's the deal: if you wanted to just like wear it or play with it, it had that long cord, so you couldn't even like go and play with your friends.
Yeah,
and
it
like
was
wear it.
wired.
Yes, I have a Power Glove, and I actually it's complete. I actually have the box and everything with it, and all the paperwork.
Wow.
And they touch on the wizard in a second, but
Right.
but I have a complete Power Glove, so I kind of chopped off the wire just so I could kind of display it and like wear it at conventions, which I did at RetroCon.
Nice.
Good.
I wish that they would have kind of just. I mean, I know that they wireless wasn't an option back then, but
right.
it would have been
cool.
kind of fun. Yeah, it would have been great.
With
They should
today's
re-release it
haptics,
now.
They should
I was gonna
probably
say, with
sell
today's
some
haptics,
sort
they
of.
probably could do it.
Someone's got to make like.
They do.
That would be really expensive.
I've
though.
seen.
I'm sure people.
I've seen
people
modded.
would pay for it.
I
I've
read
seen-
Ready Player One. They'll get there.
Oh yeah, I've seen customized versions. It just costs like a
Sure.
lot of money. I had a friend.
Oh yeah.
I have a friend. I had a buddy up in Rochester, and he would design lightsabers. And we were talking about the Power Glove, and I was like, have you ever messed with a Power Glove? He's like, no, but I really want to. And I'm like, do you remember in The Wizard when like Lucas would like tap it and it made all those noises? And I think that someone said that was from Close Encounters.
2001.
Yeah,
No, Close
or
Encounters.
2001.
Sorry.
Oh,
No,
okay,
it was Close Encounters.
Yeah.
It was Close
Mhm.
Encounters.
So I said, could you do that? He was like, well, I've never he's like I said, I never worked on a Power Glove, but I want to, and I could try. And unfortunately I moved before he could do that.
Oh,
so
no.
I'm kind of upset.
But then we get like Shadowgate, Silent Service, A
Yeah.
Boy and His Blob. I don't know any of these here.
These games are loser games.
Oh no! Listen, I had A Boy and His Blob. It's really fun.
Okay, see?
Made
Ladies
by
and
David
gentlemen.
Crane, the creator of Pitfall. I had A Boy and His Blob. Friend of mine had Shadowgate. It looks cooler than it really is with that Grim Reaper like death screen. But
Yeah.
it's a choose your own adventure text based game.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen,
the
Exhibit A.
graphics are really great.
yeah, I
But
Sorry,
gotcha.
Mike.
I never finished that one.
The
My
Guardian
friend played it while
Legend.
I was at a sleepover at his house, and I fell asleep in the middle of it.
Oh,
But A Boy
Oh,
and
yeah,
His
that's
Blob,
great.
super fun.
That's a ringing
Yeah, A Boy
endorsement.
and His Blob is fun, but it's short.
Oh, I gotcha. Well, that's like the DuckTales game. It's a lot of fun, but it's super short.
Shorter than DuckTales.
Wow, that is short.
Yeah.
Counselor's Corner, we get some Mega Man 2 tips, Faxanadu again, Strider tips, Super Dodgeball.
Love Super
It was
Dodgeball.
about how to
Love
do special
Dodgeball's
moves.
so fun.
It was so, yeah. It's so good.
Have you guys gone back and replayed that lately?
I have, yeah.
I
I have.
still love that game. And
It
I
holds
will
up.
still
it does.
play it. Yes, it does.
Surprisingly. Oh, man. And then they show some other, like, classified information
Yeah.
here. The Pogo Power, but
Yeah.
everybody knows that one. Top 30,
Nice.
I want to mention. Number 1 here, Mega Man 2. And then Mario
Interesting.
Brothers 2, Zelda 2, Ninja Gaiden, and then
Number 3.
Ninja
Wow.
Turtles.
What are they doing?
Ninja Turtles number 5, and then Faxanadu.
And with this Faxanadu, I don't remember this.
I know, right? I don't either. That's what it's like.
Never
I feel
played
like
it.
I
I
should.
remember Nintendo Power really trying to hype it up, but I never got it. Never knew anyone who had it.
I feel like I'm just discovering it now. Like even this is weird. I don't know.
But my favorite part, I think, of this whole issue
Uh-huh.
is the wizard
Yeah.
spotlight.
What's the wizard?
Yes.
Never heard of it.
Never.
I don't know what this is. This is
Oh,
brand new to
man.
me.
You know,
So-
it's got
No, I'm gonna gush, but I'll let you guys kind of get your yeah. Go ahead.
I loved that movie. That movie was awesome.
Mhm.
And then I forgot about it through the years and eventually went back to it like 15 years ago. And it's still one of my favorites now. But at the time, I remember like I just losing it. Like same thing with like the last Starfighter and like all my favorites. I'd lost track of them throughout like most of the '90s and early 2000s, and
Mhm.
such a shame. I feel like I wasted time, because they're
Yep.
so good.
No, the Wizard is one that I rewatch not frequently, but like every few years. It's fun to go back to. That's one like is always kind of hanging out in the back of my mind because like Nintendo Power really hyped up this movie. It was a big deal seeing it in the theater. It was a big deal seeing it like on VHS. They would bring it in when to our little summer day camps. And we would gather into the cafeteria and watch The Wizard. And during that like montage where he's in Reno playing in the arcade, and we would like shout out the names of the screens. We would just like Ninja Turtles, Mega Man,
That's right. Well, and then they introduced like Super Mario 3 in it.
Super Mario Brothers 3! You have 10 minutes, and the player with the most points wins! Go!
Okay, time out. Wait a minute.
That like blew my mind as a kid. Go for it.
Okay. I'm going to dispute this because I still am in the camp that it was out before the game, or I'm sorry, out before the movie.
Well, yeah, in Japan.
I mean,
no. I feel like it hit America. I can't prove it. Maybe I'm just stubborn, but I tend to remember it being out before the movie, or maybe by the time I actually saw the movie, maybe Super Mario 3 was already kind of old news. I don't know.
I don't know. I just remember it was awesome.
No, I think you're remembering it wrong.
I may have been remembering it wrong for over 30 years. I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not going to lie.
Like I remember like the first North American screens of Mario 3, the first that was in the first issue of Game Pro. They were the first.
Then maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Game Pro, that's another one that's fun.
Ever like, yeah, Super Mario Brothers 3 is out in Japan. It's coming to North America. Here are some faint screenshots. Here's a plot of the whole game, and they had a whole article on it, and that was the first issue of Game Pro. And I don't know where I got that issue, but like it ended up in my house, and we were all glued to it, and we all went nuts. And so Nintendo Power found themselves having to play catch up, when we're just like, well, we weren't ready to leak this yet, but I guess here we go. So and that is why it gets such a big column here with The Wizard, and well deserved, because that's such a fun movie.
It really is.
I happen to be a fan of this movie. I don't know if you guys know that.
I hadn't heard.
Know.
No. I hadn't heard. No.
So
Go for it. Yeah.
When I started doing Horror Movie Barbecue, my big goal was to get more recognition for Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2. And somehow in the span of 10 years, it accidentally became my goal to get more attention on The Wizard. So I started doing Wizard Wednesdays on the Facebook and the Facebook page and Twitter, and you can go back and kind of find all those. And, long story short, my biggest achievement that I've ever, that just still blows my mind, and something I will go to my grave just smiling like a big kid, is I am in the special feature documentary, and I provide, I'd say, all the scans you see in the documentary. So it's like the Nintendo Power advertisement. That actually came with the Power Glove, with all the merchandise that they show, and some of the other, so
it's great.
Those are all my scans. Yeah. So that is like my proudest achievement. And they sent me a copy. They sent me a preview copy, and I didn't know, they never confirmed whether or not I would be in it. So I'm watching, and like my heart is like racing, and I'm just like, okay. And then all of a sudden I appear on the screen, and I'm like, oh, I start like crying. So cool. I called my mom, and I'm like, Mom, you won't believe this. And my now ex-wife, I call her. She's just getting out of work, and she calls me, and she's just like, did they really include you? And I'm like, yes, they did. And I'm like,
that's so cool.
I couldn't just, I am such a small blip on, that radar, but oh my gosh, that's my grandest achievement. I still can't believe I managed
It's a
to
big
make them do that.
I mean, okay, so there are some of these guys that they do something when they're young, and then these actors, and then they're like, yeah, okay, whatever, I don't want to bring it up. That's on the level, I think, for me, of like I'd bring that up all the time.
Yeah.
Like, hi, I'm Chad.
Oh,
By the way,
yeah.
I'm in the special features of the Wizard.
I
mean,
but
like how do you not
Milk
do
that
that
for all it's worth.
Yeah, for real. That's so cool.
I'm gonna be at
man.
RetroCon, and my table will be right next to James Rolfe. I'll be right in, and on the other side will be Cinema Snob. So come see me. No, but honestly, whenever people talk about the Wizard, and it's wild because for a while I was convinced that I was the only fan of the Wizard, and
No way.
doing all
Yeah.
and that's the cool thing is like
That's like Sean with the Monster Squad, I
Monster,
guess.
and you know what? Sean helped me out big time with the Wizard stuff. We actually did a horror movie barbecue podcast with Cult Film Club. But Sean has helped me out big time with that. But yeah, I think when people think of me, they think of Ghostbusters 2 and the Wizard, and
yeah,
that's fun. That's really cool. It still kind of gets me amped up. I still feel like a kid. Maybe I'll go watch it after.
Yeah, you should.
There you go.
And then it ends with on the back cover. There's a nice little video game-esque tree with the Nintendo official seal as a tree topper, and so we get a nice little Christmas tie in there.
Mhm.
But it does make me wonder, what would you guys say would be your happiest memory or moment regarding Nintendo Power?
You know what? I'm just gonna stick with my stock answer and saying this episode. That's the best I can come up with.
That works.
Gary, that's where you say "all shucks."
Oh yeah, that's usually what I say. Ah, shucks.
I guess you know what?
I forgot my line.
I will say, you know what? Just kind of being in the basement of your friend's, house and reading the magazines on like a summer day and just playing Nintendo. I don't have a particular issue that I can just go to and say that was the issue that we read. Oh yeah. But I mean, just the memory of, just being a kid and reading all these and, having access to it and, cheating on your Nintendo games. Oh, by the way, gosh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. We left out one important thing.
What is it?
I'm sorry. I derailed the entire thing.
That's okay. What?
Because we were just talking about the Wizard, and I had it written down. They gave away Pocket Power magazines, which were like mini.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the Wizard.
Oh,
That's
my
right.
gosh.
They did. Yes.
Yes. And they were just
you had to be the first one,
it was like,
right? Something like that.
Yeah, it was like the first week or like the first month or whatever it was. And they like gave away, I don't think the magazine was any more than like 10, 15 pages, but it was all there's no way. It was like, it was a mini, it was Pocket Power.
Sized.
Yeah, it was like,
the little boxes of cereal you get like when you're going camping.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, but Nintendo Power.
Yes, and I have a lot of friends that are like, oh, whenever we do talk about the Wizard, and they're always like, yeah, I remember getting this magazine when I went to go see it, and I'm like, do you still have it? And they're like, no, I threw it out. And I'm like, oh,
darn you!
Thanks. Yeah,
yeah.
I
was not one of the lucky ones.
I wasn't either. I didn't get one.
No,
we went too late.
And thankfully, someone I don't remember the name of the page, but there is someone online who uploaded the entire thing onto their Flickr page, I think. So
cool.
It is out there.
That's cool.
Yeah. Sorry for derailing. I was gonna be depressed if I didn't bring that up.
Well, I'm glad you did. My happiest memory has to be the time I finally got my name printed in an issue.
Yes.
It was just for a high score. I started subscribing when I was 8. By the time my name got in there, I was almost 16. It was 1997. It's volume 99. It had Goldeneye on the cover. And I wrote to Nintendo Power a lot. Never got my letters printed. I would write those stupid, here's my Power Player profile containing all of my gaming accomplishments and basic life stats and hobbies. I don't know why they want to know about my hobbies. My hobbies are video games.
Mhm.
That's how I have your address.
Why do you think I'm writing to you?
What hobbies does a 10-year-old have exactly, other than Nintendo?
Right. But 1997, I finally get my name listed among the high scores. They issued a challenge. They would do challenges at this point. You want your name printed? Do this it was in Super Mario 64. You had to collect every coin in the tick-tock clock level, which is the hardest level in Mario 64. And I did it. And I took a photo of it, and I had it developed, and I sent it to Nintendo Power, and they put my stupid name in their stupid magazine because they're awesome. Which would have been really great bragging rights when I was 8, not so much when I'm a senior in high school.
Not with that attitude.
No.
Speak for yourself. I would have been bragging about that.
Right. You're right.
Yeah, I think it depends on who you're bragging to.
I showed my friends. I'm like, they did it. My name's in here. So I remain very thankful to the kind staff at Nintendo Power.
we love you all.
Mm-hmm. We do.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, for me, it was just I remember going to my friend's house and reading through his magazines, and that was like the coolest thing in the world, learning about, oh, that's the order you're supposed to play them in on Mega Man 2, or that's the area you're supposed to find this particular thing here. It's just I just have very fond memories going to his house and trying not to sit on his flag because he had a flag that took up like half his room. And just reading through these magazines. I know that dude had everything. But now we come to my favorite part of the show, which is a little segment I like to call Gag Me with the Spoon. This is where we do our best impression of our least favorite parts. And while we didn't actually talk about the commercials because we're just running out of time here,
Sorry.
there were several commercials. No worries, about Nintendo Power, and we're including those in here. So I'll let you all go first. Just kind of set up the scene for us and go from there.
Okay. So the one that you sent that I remember is the one where it's this kid like shredding through Super Mario Brothers 2 in front of a big screen, and a bunch of his friends are behind him like, oh, he knows all the secrets. And this one kid, one of his admirers, whispers to another kid, he always knows what games to get before anyone else. Like he's got some insider trading secrets happening behind closed doors.
It's insider trading is illegal.
But I remember at the end, they end the commercial with like this kid walking out of the room and it's just like, there he goes, Mr. Nintendo.
Was totally mine.
It's very Staten Islandish.
That's actually the one I was gonna do. There he goes,
sorry.
Mr. Nintendo. No worries,
I cheated and did too.
That's okay. What about you, Chad?
So I kind of misunderstood the assignment here, so I apologize. But
no worries.
We're talking about our least favorite part of the magazine or our favorite commercial.
Our least favorite part of the commercial or the magazine, whichever. I'm okay with either one.
All right, I kind of have a better idea. Let me try something.
Or if you want to quote the wizard, I'll take that too.
All right, hold on. Let me try something. Coming soon to Nintendo, Wheel of Fortune Jr. Because there's a review of Wheel of Fortune Jr. in this. That's all I can think of.
Wheel of Fortune.
Can you just imagine? No, I just want you to imagine a Nintendo commercial because all those commercials would always start the same. It's some kid walking into a room and then opening a door and a giant light comes out and he's playing a game. Can't you just imagine that?
The largest screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know who had this set up, but that kid is awesome.
Yes. That's what I want to do. That's my fantasy commercial. Some kid walking into like this giant 1984 room and, Big Brother's watching and he has to play Wheel of Fortune Jr. to save the world.
Yeah.
That's my fantasy booking.
It's like the old James
Legendary
Bond villains from like
yes, exactly.
From like the 60s, the Sean Connery villains, and they have these ridiculous rooms, except with the computer screen, a TV screen and Nintendo.
And the music always sounds like someone fell asleep on like on a synthesizer where it goes
on a Casio keyboard.
Yes, a Casio.
What were you gonna say, Mike?
Do your Gag Me with a Spoon, and then I want to talk about the other commercial.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just gonna say what you were saying, which is the kids walking away, and the other guy goes, "There he goes, Mr. Nintendo." I can't do it. New York accent. to save my life. But
I
anyway.
like the other commercial that I remember was where the kid gets like zapped into the magazine.
Yes, I do
because
remember
his
that
friends are trapped in the Legend of Zelda for some reason.
Yeah.
It was like his name's Toby. Toby, help us! We're in trouble.
Toby.
Hey, you.
Yeah, and that reminded me immediately, especially when his mom tries to wake him up at the end. Toby. It reminds me of the bad guy from the anime movie Unico and the Island of Magic.
Toby.
Toby. In the same tone.
Yes.
I'll put those in because I've
you
never
will
seen
not.
that one. So.
No, don't.
Oh my goodness. That movie.
You've never seen Unico in the Island of Magic?
I know. I actually never have.
Okay.
No.
Just look. Take our word for it.
Okay.
That was like, the one movie that just freaked you out as a kid?
Mhm.
That's mine.
Mm-hmm.
So funny you were mentioning, how you were telling me about Dark Heart and all those. It's funny how like I would never get scared from like Freddy Krueger or any of these things. But that one kid with the glowing, the redhead kid with the glowing red eyes freaked me out from the Care Bear movies. And I never watched a lot of it.
I was going to say, you know what the most freaky thing I've ever seen in a video game ever in my I'm 39 years.
What's that?
Is the angry sun in Super Mario 3. Is just the most damning thing I've ever seen. And if I see it now, I will just run out of the room. I'll throw the game out the window.
It's just Texas. That's all.
It's just
Texas in the summer. That's what it is.
No, mine is, you ever play Bubble Bobble?
Yes.
I tried. I couldn't get into that game.
I did play Bubble Bobble.
Those levels are timed, and after a few minutes, like this scary white monster thing starts chasing you at top speed, and it's just like, no, get away.
Nope. I don't like that.
Oh, man. But, G.I. Joe taught us that knowing is half the battle. What do you think the other half is?
A controller with turbo settings.
The Power Glove.
Subscriptions. I think
There it is.
Nintendo Slumber Bags.
That's right.
Slumber Bags. It's the weirdest name. Guys, it's been so much fun. Tell me about your shows.
This has been a blast. Go ahead, Chad.
Wait, tell you about our what?
Your shows, anything you want to plug.
Where can we find you on the internet?
At Horror Movie Barbecue, Instagram, Twitter, and there is a Facebook page. I try to update as regularly as I can. I don't really do a Horror Movie Barbecue podcast anymore. I'm working on other things. So
right on.
Stick around. The blog I'm celebrating 10 years of Horror Movie Barbecue this year, so I have some plans.
Wizard
and
by the minute.
The what?
The Wizard by the minute.
You really want me to do the Wizard by the?
I don't think it's been done.
There's
yet.
a challenge. You know what? You know what? To be continued.
All right. Interesting. Mike?
At Fall West Mike on social things. Adventcalendar.house for my podcast. That is still in the middle of a long winter's nap until July, but I'm regifting an episode or two to the feed until then.
Nice.
Just want to say Jingle Bell Rap is still the most downloaded episode, but no big deal.
No, it's in the top
Not
5.
anymore.
I think it's like number 5 now.
Take that, Jeff Summergy.
For the last almost 3 years, it's been my Time Life episode, and now that's number 3, and it has fallen to Rudolph and Dolly Parton. So,
ooh, those are good episodes.
Rudolph is my number 2.
Oh, nice.
Jingle Bell Rap is number 5.
I thought of you, Mike, earlier because I was in a record store and they had a used copy of John Denver and the Muppets Family Christmas on Blu-ray.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was like, oh,
Blu-ray. I didn't even know it was on Blu-ray.
I didn't know it either, but they had it for like $30, and I was like, oh, that must be rare.
Yeah. I guess so, for 30, yeah.
No.
But
I will stick to my copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah.
That's the best way to watch it. But on that note, I'm going to end it by saying thanks again, guys. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
And I'll say we've gathered up all the best for the NES as our special gift to you, our readers. With over 600 presents waiting under our tree, you're sure to be a winner. Send in your answers to the players poll today and check us out on our social media pages, Facebook and Instagram at Totally Rad Christmas, Twitter at Rad Christmas, Mastodon at Totally Rad Christmas at mastodon.world, or our Facebook group, Totally Rad Christmas Mall and Arcade, where you can make your voice known to us as well. We post anything and everything 80s or Christmas related. And if you're feeling like giving the gift of power, leave us a review on iTunes. It helps us reach more people and spread some rad holiday cheer. Now, don't forget to check out our merch shop on tpublic.com and our super dope website, totallyradchristmas.com, courtesy of Tis the Podcast Elf, Tom Crow. All the players at Nintendo wish you a powerfully happy holiday season. Later, dudes.
Toby!
So how do you think he does it? Beats me. Where do you learn that trick? He always knows what games to get before anybody else.
Subscribe now and get with it.
There he goes. Mr. Nintendo.
Nintendo Power. Call now and get it.